Good evening and welcome back to Our Community, Your Voice. We've got a great show for you this evening. I want to welcome to the studio Annemarie Seifert, UConn Avery Point Campus Director. Good evening, Annemarie.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's actually my pleasure to have you. I think what you're going to hear this evening is a wonderful story. We are going to hear Annemarie's journey. And then at the very end, about 10 to 15 minutes at the very end, I am going to announce something very exciting that is going to be happening at the UConn Avery Point campus on November 3rd. So Annemarie, UConn Avery Point Campus Director. I know there's a journey here. I know there's a story. Where did you come from?
So I come from a fantastic family. I'm one of 6 kids.
Where do you? Okay, one of 6 kids.
One of 6 kids.
But where in that 6 kids?
I'm the 5th out of 6. So I have 4 older brothers and a younger sister. So that's where this personality comes from.
Okay, all right.
Really, all of them.
Yeah.
It definitely is. And I'm very fortunate. When my family moved to Connecticut, we moved from Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. My parents really made education a priority and moved us into a community that had a very good and strong educational system. And I really believe that completely changed the trajectory of my life.
Wow. So when you say you moved, you're one of 6 children. Mm-hmm. How old were you?
I was going into 1st grade. So I did preschool and kindergarten in Brookfield, Wisconsin, and then moved to Connecticut and started 1st grade.
Okay, so was that kind of a cultural shock for you?
It was, but in small ways that I don't think I realized. Okay. You know, like silly ways. The first week of school, I kept asking my teacher for where the bubbler was. Mm-hmm. And, you know, she kept saying, you know, bubbler. She didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
And so one day she asked my parents, and my mom was like, she's just asking for a drink of water, because that's what water fountains are called in the Midwest.
In the Midwest, sure. Now, have you been back to Wisconsin?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I was most recently there in August for a family reunion, so try to get back every couple of years. It means a lot to my dad in particular, but both of my parents to go back and visit, and a majority of my father's family are still there, so it's a great opportunity to connect with cousins and family and really our roots.
Okay, so you planted yourself in Connecticut, I guess, your parents and the whole family, and then where did you go to college?
Well, I did my undergrad at Central Connecticut State University, and so as first-generation college students, so neither of my parents went to college, and really even my journey just for applying for schools was a little different, I realized later, than a lot of my friends. Mm-hmm. So I went and asked my guidance school counselor.
And how old were you at the time?
I was probably 16, 17. Okay. Yep. So, you know, getting to be that time, I mean, my parents always talked about college, so it's not like I was thinking I was going to do anything else. Mm-hmm. But I didn't have a context for college. I didn't know people that went to college.
Right.
I hadn't been able to talk about their experiences. Really, all I heard was maybe what was talked about at a school assembly or what was on TV or in the media. I didn't have a personal context, and I wanted that. And so I asked.
You didn't have a friend that was going on to college? You didn't?
There were older kids that went, but I think it's pretty common that, you know, kids go away to college and then they don't necessarily come back and talk to the people that are still
They
in high
continue
school.
on their journey.
They continue on their journey. And so I was fortunate that my guidance counselor was able to connect me with a woman at Central, which is really why I think I ended up there, because I was able to go and spend the weekend, you know, stay with her in her residence hall and really learn what college was about.
So she took you under her wing.
She did.
Okay.
She did.
And it's probably you probably still keep in touch with her to this day, or?
You know, I don't, which is terrible. I really
You've got to reach out to her.
I think I'm going to have to,
because she helped you pave the way.
She did, and I don't even know if she really has an understanding of the impact that she had on me, and that's something that I try to be really cognizant of is thanking those that have mentored and supported me along the way. So I think that's a good little nudge. Yeah. I'm going to definitely.
Well, you know, it's interesting you say that, because a lot of times our lives just continue to go on. And we step back and we say, "Why, I remember that person," and just reach out to her. So you are now the campus director of UConn Avery Point. How did that happen?
Well, when I was at Central Connecticut, I had great connections with faculty, but really the relationships that I was able to build with administrators had a profound impact on me. I worked within the student center and worked orientation and did different jobs around campus, and that allowed me to connect with staff, particularly those in student affairs, so the staff that were working with students outside of the classroom. And I think that set my foundation. Once I realized, oh, this is a profession.
Yeah, yeah. Well, fun became a profession.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and I knew the impact they had on me, whether it was, the intentional developmental educational programs or the one-on-one conversations. They were influencing me and helping advance my learning every day on that campus. And I thought that's what I wanted to do. I did programs when I was an undergrad that allowed
versus teaching or being a professor.
I did. I actually started in elementary education at Central, but ended up graduating with a marketing degree, which is a great foundation degree. It's a great
to jewelry. I understand these things. Yeah.
It's a great foundational degree, though. I think,
yes. Oh, absolutely. Right.
For a lot of things,
right.
And I do believe that the experiences I had outside of the classroom really complemented what I was learning inside the classroom and set my trajectory.
Right.
So after I completed my degree at Central Connecticut, I had the opportunity to study at Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut.
Great school. Yeah.
It was a wonderful experience. I will admit I was drawn because they were willing to pay for my entire schooling.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I worked as a graduate assistant in the student center operations of the campus. And so did lots of different things, including running the campus pub and student employment.
Annemarie, now you're talking.
So that was it was a great experience, and it allowed me to interact with a number of undergraduates, and then also really learn again from another set of mentors, folks that I really respected that were willing to challenge me and help me grow as a young professional. So that meant a great deal to me.
So someone who really, Annemarie, thought of college, a distant thought of college and maybe a dream, really ended up in academia pretty much all of your career.
Absolutely, absolutely. I did a short stint in real estate appraisal, but really that was my attempt to utilize my marketing degree.
Right.
But really the opportunity in higher education was what was really pulling not only at my heart but my mind, and it was very much what I was committed to.
So you came to the campus what year?
To UConn Avery
Yes.
Point. So I started last summer. So summer of 2016.
So a little bit over a year.
A little over a year. Yeah. And it's been great. After Sacred Heart, I went out to the University of Texas at Austin and worked there for 10 years, and then worked in South Georgia for 5, and then just most recently up the road at UMass Amherst for 5.
And then back in Connecticut.
So that was always my goal.
This is sort of this whole journey. I mean, you've gone the full circle.
Absolutely.
Annemarie. So you came last summer. Let's talk a little bit about some of the programming and UConn itself. Right before the show, we were speaking a little bit, and I was pleasantly surprised to hear a number of things. So one of the perception is that is it a 2-year program? Is it a 4-year program? Can the kids live on campus? Tell us a little bit about sort of the dynamics of the campus.
Sure, and I appreciate you asking because I do think there are a lot of misconceptions out there.
There are.
And any opportunity that I have to share really all the fantastic things that are going on at Avery Point, I jump at that opportunity.
And Annemarie, and I want to just back a little bit on that. I mean, as someone who's lived here all my life, sort of living with those perceptions. And I want to just say to the audience that I was so happy that, and we'll get to that, the end of the show, that Annemarie and I have connected, because just a few minutes that I spent with you today and the time that we've spent in the last couple of weeks, I've just opened my mind up to this great facility, this great academic facility, and the campus itself. And so, Annemarie, just give us a little background on sort of what the campus was and where it is now.
Sure. Well, I mean, you kind of alluded to how beautiful our campus is. I mean, we're so fortunate to have 72 acres that are surrounded on 3 sides by, the Long Island Sound.
Yes.
It really is. It really is amazing. But as amazing as that, the thing that I think stands out the most to me, the thing that's most special about the campus are the people, the students, the faculty and staff. It really is a very special community, and it's a great opportunity for students to participate in an institution that's top 18 nationally,
right,
but in a small, intimate setting. So it allows students that maybe Storrs isn't the right fit right now, or maybe it won't ever be. But it's a nice complement, and that's one of the things that I really love about how the University of Connecticut sets up their institution as a whole. The fact that we have regional campuses that touch different parts of the state, they allow students, like for example at Avery Point, there are lots of academically talented students that are place-bound, whether for family reasons or financial reasons. So Avery Point gives them an opportunity to participate in UConn, and that I think is really great. We have 5 degree programs, so that means that students can complete a degree in marine sciences, maritime studies, English, American studies, or general studies.
Wow.
The other thing they can do is they can start over the over 100 degrees at UConn at Avery Point. So a majority of our students do spend 2 years, although I will tell you that a week does not go by that I don't have a student asking me, how can I stay here longer? How can I complete my degree? Because it is such a special place.
And there's a little bit of that safety net.
There is.
Around that campus and pulling into that campus. Sometimes at that younger generation, you need that. Studying is one thing, but feeling safe where you are is another thing.
Well, I think a close-knit community really works for so many of us. I mean, I've been drawn to a smaller campus for a very long time, but I have not been willing to give up what it means to be part of a large research institution and all that means, not only for me as a staff member, but also for our students, the research and the engagement. And to me, Avery Point is the best of both worlds. I'm so impressed with the interdisciplinary opportunities that students have. So because we're a small community, our faculty are able to interact with one another often. And they get excited about each other.
And they see you on campus.
They do see me on campus.
I mean, you're out there, you're talking with the students. I know this.
That is true, and that's one of the things I enjoy the most, is keeping a pulse on what the experience our students are having, our faculty are having, our staff are having, and how can we figure out to continue to raise the bar for that experience.
So how many students are there right now?
So we currently have just over 700 students at Avery Point, and a majority of those are undergraduates, and they're really participating in an active student life program. I mean, being located where we are, we have a fantastic waterfront program, and they're able to use that in their classes and then also outside of the classroom for co-curricular learning, which is amazing. Our location allows us to leverage all the exciting things that are going on in the region.
Oh, absolutely.
We have fantastic partnerships, as you know, with a number of organizations, including Mystic Aquarium.
Yes, absolutely.
Project Oceanology is on our campus. Circa's on our campus. UConn is a Sea Grant institution, and so Sea Grant is at Avery Point also, which is really fantastic.
Wow.
And so all of these opportunities and the size of our campus allow for students to get into research labs a lot quicker than they maybe would on other campuses. And that has a direct impact on students' learning. And you hear students talk about it. To hear a first-year student being able to articulate an experience they're having with an internationally recognized researcher is pretty exciting.
Yeah. So when I was growing up, the campus was there, and the perception again was that a lot of the kids from Groton and Stonington and just New London came to the campus.
Sure.
Is that true now?
It absolutely is true that we pull, a majority of our students from the region. But I think many people don't know, we also pull students currently right now from over 80 high schools around the state of Connecticut.
I just want to tell you, I did not know that. I really, because usually it's getting in your car and going to the campus. Where are these students staying?
So about 14% of our students are living in apartments that are close to the campus.
I see,
so
yeah.
they really
so they can
are.
Walk? They have their cars as well.
They do, but a lot of them do prefer to walk to campus, or they carpool with friends, and it's a great additional layer of connecting to the community.
Wow, Annemarie. Wow, you've got a lot going on over there.
We do.
So tell us a little bit about some of the interaction with some of the kids and your faculty. Just a little bit about them and your interaction with them.
Well, I'm fortunate. I feel like that
I've met some of your administrative staff, and they're just as passionate about the campus.
Well, it's easy to get passionate, especially when you're able to know people on a personal level. And I think that's one thing we're able to cultivate at Avery Point. I mean, one of my most favorite stories is probably my second week on campus. And, I was walking across campus with a colleague, and, she had seen a student in the student center who, didn't seem as happy as he normally was. And before we got back to our office, two of his faculty, were given a heads up, and his academic advisor was chatted with to just say, hey, maybe we should just check in. So the level of wraparound service, is pretty amazing. And
I love that wraparound service. That's fantastic. Yeah.
And students appreciate it. I mean, that's why they talk about the campus as a family and and as home. And that to me means the world, because I think that if they even feel that a small part of Avery Point or Yukon is their home, then that I think is very significant. So, we also have very active student organizations, and so the student life is very active. Great speaker series, great workshops, opportunities for leadership development, and when you're at a campus the size of Avery Point, you're able to jump in and get involved very early. So, even when I was at Central, which, was just about 10,000 students when I was there, I got involved early, but it definitely took me a while to kind of climb up that leadership ladder.
Well, sure, yes.
And our students, within their first semester can get involved
a lot quicker.
Absolutely.
A lot
absolutely.
quicker. Well, that's a great segue, Annemarie. When I'm hearing leadership and some of the programs that you have at the campus, and I'm just going to segue to something that's kind of real important and really why we are here this evening. On November 3rd, we have a great opportunity not only to highlight the campus, but to highlight some successful women making a difference in southeastern Connecticut. And I'm going to set it up just a little bit differently. You'll see below the screen here that it's Friday, November 3rd from 1 to 4, right on the campus, and you can RSVP below. But many people know Joyce Olson-Resnikoff. And a few months ago, Joyce and I, we don't need anything more to do. But she came to me and we were talking about literally, how do we get more women involved, stepping up, and how do we get their stories out? And she said, do you know the UConn campus director, Avery Point? Annemarie? And I said, no, I don't, but whatever. But anyways, we had the opportunity to connect. And I just want to hold up this beautiful poster, and I do have to give a plug out. If Frank can where are we, Frank? I know I put this on you. There you are a little bit, and here he comes running. This actually is what I want to call hot off the press.
Definitely.
Okay. We just got the approval today from the people at UConn, And basically, well, we didn't even talk about 50 years.
I know. I want to get that in there.
We got to get that in there. But there it is right there, Frank. Thank you so much. He ran over a beautiful poster highlighting these beautiful women and what they have done in their lives and their journey. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this program that we have that we're going to be offering on Friday, November 3rd. So we've been meeting. We've been meeting and just to give a little shout out to, this basically is a panel. Mm-hmm. And is a panel of very successful women who have made a difference in southeastern Connecticut, but who are continuing to make a difference. And I'm just going to give a shout out to our panel members, Lisa Kenickie from the Ocean Community Chamber of Commerce, Maria Miranda, Creative Director and founder of Miranda Creations. Of course, we've got Dr. Annemarie Seifert over here. And we've got Jeannie Siegel, Marketing Director of the Guard Arts Theater. We have Donna Simpson, who I've known a long time, former manager at Electric Boat, and Verna Swan, Verna Swan was, I believe, patient relations manager at Lawrence Memorial, and continues to volunteer. And then I will have the opportunity to moderate during that afternoon. And I think, Annemarie, and jump in anytime, this sort of started out with, how are we going to do this? But I think now we've gotten it to a point where I think it's going to be hopefully for everybody out there, come on down. I want to say it's free. Come on down. We're just putting the nuts and bolts together for the program that day. But set us up with that. We start, what time?
So 1 p.m.
Okay, 1 p.m.
When we're going to start.
And we're going to go for a couple of hours and then break.
So there's an opportunity to hear from a few speakers and then to have a moderated panel.
Right.
And then we'll also have a networking opportunity to close out for folks to interact with the panelists and also with each other. So I think it really is a nice short period of time, a small commitment, but it really is a wonderful opportunity for women of all ages to come and hear about the exciting accomplishments of some select women in the region.
So Annemarie hasn't had the opportunity to get in front of some of these women, but I will speak on behalf of Joyce Resnikoff, who basically handpicked Joyce. If you're out there, and I know you're going to be watching this because you're going to have a tape of this, a little CD we'll give you. But let me start with Lisa Kenickie, quite a force. Lisa Kenickie worked with her during her tenure at the Y, which was the Mystic Community Center. And Lisa Kenickie has a resume that is about 4 pages, and everybody can Google any one of these women. But she has been a force in Pawcatuck, in Westerly, and in the Mystic community. Part of her, I want to say tenure again at the Ocean Community Chamber, is her revitalization of Westerly and downtown Pawcatuck. And she'll speak to you a little bit more about that as we go forward. Maria Miranda, probably one of the most creative people I know. We use her, you would love her because that's that marketing background. Maria is vivacious. She's a force in herself. When she walks into a room, you will know who she is. Jeannie Siegel. Does anybody know the Guard Art Center in New London? She and Joyce, it was Joyce's dream with her husband, Israel Resnikoff, who has passed on. But Joyce was really part of the revitalization of the Guard, and the place is beautiful. And Jeannie and her husband, Steve, have really done a great job in New London, Connecticut. I don't even know what to say about Donna Simpson, except that another force, a manager at General Dynamics when a lot of women were not in that top level position at General Dynamics, and she certainly has a story to tell. But on the other side of that, when she retired, she became entrenched in Mystic Coast and Country, and sort of led the way for tourism in southeastern Connecticut. Verna Swan, I'm leaving her for last because she's probably the most we all have our stories, but Verna will bring the house down, and maybe a tearful house down. She is a dynamic woman who, again, Annemarie has said, I can't go to college. I'm a mom and have kids, and I'm 40 years old, or however old she was, but she said, in order for me to make a difference and to basically get a better job, I better go to school. And she'll tell you, go to college, and she'll tell you more about her mentoring as well. So I want to say Friday, November 3rd, 1 to 4, UConn Avery Point. You can see all the information below, and it's Successful Women Making a Difference here in southeastern Connecticut. It's our first. We'd love to continue the, well, it's a dream, talk about dreams, but we'd like to continue that year after year, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. So we only have a few minutes, Annemarie. I do want to get the 50 years
Thank
in.
you.
Okay.
Yes, good. Well, this is the year 2017. We're celebrating 50 years of UConn Avery Point, and it's really been a wonderful opportunity not only for us to reflect on what the institution has accomplished over the past 50 years, but it's also provided us a fantastic platform to share not only with the region, but with the state of Connecticut as a whole, all the exciting things that are going on at Avery Point. Yeah. And so we have an opportunity coming up on October 15th.
That's coming up, yeah.
It's our 50th festival, and really what it is it's a community open house for everyone in the family. We have everything from children's programs, including touch tanks, and the opportunity to see researchers, both our esteemed faculty and also our fantastic students, really to give you a flavor of what happens at Avery Point every single day. So it's exciting. Folks should come out. It's 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. We'll have food, fun. There'll be music all day long out on the patio at Branford
It already
House.
Sounds like fun.
And it's free.
And it's free.
And it's free.
So we've got a couple of minutes, Annemarie. Give me the future. Give me your idea a year from now, 5 years from now. Wrap that up for me.
So I think that, being at UConn Avery Point for a year, I see so many untapped opportunities. And so continuing to work with UConn as a whole to figure out where we can further identify our distinction, deepening our roots to the region, and supporting, the maritime community that we're a part of and that we feel so strongly about. But also looking at what other pathways exist to be able to afford more students the opportunity to attend. So we're working hard on scholarships. We're working hard on looking to advance academic programs, whether that's new majors, new minors. But there really are a lot of exciting things going on. And the other thing that we talk about a lot is, UConn Avery Point should be UConn for the summer. So it's
I like that. UConn for the summer. I like that, Annemarie.
So we're looking at running some different pilot programs in the next couple of summers. We're looking at doing some Maymesters where we're bringing folks that maybe wouldn't necessarily be coming to the region to come and study at UConn for 5 weeks, or do an in-residence program as musicians for a week, and then do performances that are free to the community. And so really lots of exciting things.
Well, Annemarie, that concludes our show. I thank you very much for coming into the show this evening and being a part of our community. We'll see you on November 3rd. Sign up right now. Our community, your voice. Good evening.